Welcome back to Blacktown Olympic Park. NAB Cup round 1, and the AFL donating 15% of all the gate takings for the NAB Cup round 1 matches to the flood relief campaign to help local communities. Paul Kelly out there in the super kick, having a kick around with a couple of well-known celebrities. I think there was a wiggle out there before. I think that was a yellow wiggle, but I'm not up on the wiggles.
How's that for a shot of the moon? Amazing.
Beautiful.
Paul Kelly's kicking better tonight than I saw him kick when he actually played throughout his stellar career.
How fit does he look too? Hey, looks magnificent, Kel.
It's a magnificent night, really. It's tough for footy, about 30 degrees down there. Liam Pickering is down there. Is it still warm, Pickers?
Yes, it is, Ryan. It's quite humid is the main thing we talk about, but don't be too disheartened by what we saw in the first game. I mean, if you go back 12 months, the group we're about to see now, 12 months older, Guy McKenna said it, would have probably copped the same hiding. So I'm not that concerned about what we saw out there. I thought there were some good signs from GWS, but really excited about seeing the Gold Coast tonight. 12 months in the making. They've got a few really good AFL players that are playing tonight, a number including obviously Gary Ablett and Nathan Bock not playing, but expecting a good showing. Sydney coach Johnny Longmire just might be a little bit nervous about the Gold Coast. Looking forward to seeing how they go.
We all are, so let's have a look at the Gold Coast Suns making their debut in anger in an AFL game tonight.
And one of the great differences to Greater Western Sydney, Rouge, is we see some very good experienced players mixed in amongst them, the Campbell Browns, and we know that Josh Fraser's got a lot to prove up here. Jared Harbrow's a very good player. But, I mean, no matter who we talk about, so many eyes are going to be focused on number 7, Karmichael Hunt. We've seen him warming up. We know that he's slimmed down, but he is still built like the proverbial brick outhouse, isn't he?
Yeah, look, he doesn't have that typical AFL body, does he? But by all accounts, he's stripped some weight and he's obviously running across the ground a bit better than, in terms of aerobic stuff. I think the big thing with this game, Jace, is you look at the midfields, and we talked about the Swans smashing them out of the centre. You've got two big bodies in Rishichelli and Daniel Harris,
Yep.
and I wouldn't expect that the Swannies will have an armchair ride like they did last time.
It's interesting, Karmichael Hunt, some comments attributed to him that he wouldn't mind having a run on Adam Goods.
I think he's going to play on Adam Goodsey. Here's the Sydney lineup. There was a suggestion he'll just run around with Goodsey all night.
Yeah, a couple of changes for the Swans with Ben McGlynn and Jude Bolton, so a couple of experienced, really, really good quality players coming in for them. But one of the things he said was, I'm not sure I could run off him all night, but I wouldn't mind having a go. I'm not sure if he knew what he meant by run off him or just stick with him.
Look, good crowd tonight too. I think, I don't know, it's about 10,000 at Holds, and I suppose a lot of them would be looking forward to seeing Karmichael Hunt playing Adam Goods. Yeah. But I would suggest Karmichael was very sneaky in that interview, saying that I wouldn't mind playing on him for a little while.
Campbell Brown having a few words to say there as the Suns gather up and head to position. Of course, he's leading them tonight, and he'll love the responsibility of that leadership. And let me tell you right now, if any of the youngsters need protection, there he is. He's giving Benny McGlynn, one, a former teammate, just said, Benny, remember me? Here I am, champ. If anyone needs a hand tonight, Brownie will be there straight up to look after. He's just bumping everybody that he can possibly run into, Roosie.
He looks like a bumper car at the show, doesn't he? He looks angry. He's got Trent Dennis Lane down there. Karmichael Hunt's gone to Daniel Curry, so there's a big height difference in those two.
So he's captaining tonight, Campbell Brown, in the absence of the captain. Gary Ablett not playing, Box not playing, Jared Brennan also not playing for the Gold Coast Suns. So the first game for the Gold Coast Suns into the competition this year. And the AFL's newest franchise is up and running. Seaby, after that
he was going the
demolition
wrong way
job.
then.
He was.
I think he was looking to give a handball to a smaller bloke, Jase.
I reckon he was about to kick it the other way.
So after the demolition job Sydney did on Greater Western Sydney, this might be a little bit tougher. This Swallow, heard big things about him. Toy, Fraser, and already they're moving the ball well. Joey Day kicks toward half forward. Shaw provides some protection for Richards. Touch play on was a call. High, little nudge. Off some hands in a marking contest. Kept alive, though, by Daniel Harris, another player that we know well. Josh Fraser. Incorrect disposal. So, free kick against Josh Fraser. Kieran Jack.
In the early stages, though, we're seeing the Suns get their share of possession, get their hands on it.
Yeah, I think we mentioned through the midfield that they're going to be a lot stronger. We've seen Harris involved, Swallow at the bottom of the pack already, so they do have some talent.
Karmichael Hunt getting his first ever possession. So well played, Campbell Brown back to Cracker. toward the wing, and he looked okay, Karmichael Hunt, which is great news. 3 sports as a professional in 3 years. It's amazing, really. Rugby league, rugby union, and now AFL at the highest level within that 2.5-year period. It is an amazing story that Karmichael... Campbell Brown! Didn't he want to take them on?
Well, Kieran Jack,
He's fired up.
he's as tough as they come too, Kieran Jack, rugby league background, so it was a reasonable clash for the first round of the NAB Cup.
And one thing we are seeing is that the Suns aren't lacking anything from a physical perspective. We saw the bigger bodies of Sydney completely dominate Greater Western Sydney, but the Suns certainly are well prepared for this physically.
And I think it'll take the Swans a little while to adjust to that higher intensity of this game than they had to play in the last game as well.
So Jetta to Richards, here's Campbell Brown again, trying to track it down. He can let this run out if he wants to. It's a free, but he gathers and goes. Here's Big Nick, the new Big Nick. Tom Nichols heads wide. Nice mark and gather Matera. This is Brandon Matera, the son of Wally, former West Coast Eagles star. Matner tries to break free from defence. Andreas Everett. He had a pretty good game in his first game for the Sydney Swans earlier tonight, but as we said, that was against young kid opposition. Now Chesky wide, too wide, free kick.
Good pressure.
You were already seeing a difference in the defensive side of the game of the Gold Coast boys. You know, they're putting more pressure on when the Swans get the ball.
Leave it on now, Michael. Play on.
Michael Riscatelli grabbed from the Lions. It's wide. Harris.
Wait.
He's had a year off after being with North Melbourne, of course. Back into the system. High towards the square, and the fist comes from Big Nick. Dumps it out of play. That's a marking contest, so it'll be a ball in. And here's Campbell Brown again, guys.
He just wanted the physical contact. He thought, I'm not going to cough the ball up, but I'll take him on. And as a last resort, he got the hand pass away. Just a terrific contest.
Kieran Jack and Jude Bolton, the two coming the other way.
Fraser and Seaby. Jude Bolton rested for the first game. Kennedy outstanding in the first game. Last touch out of bounds, of course, is the rule. It won't be with us beyond this weekend. It's dumped after round 1 of the NAB Cup.
Well, they haven't...
Karmichael Hunt. And a big round of applause for Karmichael Hunt as well, and a good kick as well. Nathan Cracker. That's handball's terrible. Brown gives it up. Tape. Pumps it long inside 50. Oh, he got there to take the mark. Megan, he couldn't take the mark that could have seen them hit the lead. Alec Megan on the rookie list. That won't do him any favours.
No, he just needed to attack it a little bit harder. He thought, I know traffic's coming. I think he just took his eye off it for a fraction of a second, but I'm sure he'll get the next one.
Brother Reese had a go on the Essendon list for a while. Harris with the snap, and they've hit the lead. Daniel Harris with the goal. First goal for the Gold Coast Suns. Arbrow.
It's good use of the footy, just holding it up till they get the right option and then hitting the targets.
20-game career with the Western Bulldogs. Jared Harbrow was from Cairns before the Bulldogs, so would like playing in this heat. It's through hands almost. And off hands the smother. That'll be a ball in after Charlie Dixon got the kick. Charlie Dixon, another player from Cairns, the number 23 for the Gold Coast Suns. Best on ground last week in their practice game. Centre half forward.
Just went a little bit early with his leap for the foot. He was up before acceptances.
Charlie Dixon doing some ruck now. And McNeil was dragged down. Sydney Swans free kick. McNeil. Chesky. Trying to use it a little better. Toy attacked it brilliantly.
Great effort.
Josh Toy.
We closed him down very well there. I think that was Jude Bolton. Very good spoil. Once again, defensively a lot better. They've closed them down, picked up their opponents.
Boy, he was coming hard.
Campbell Brown thumped it straight to Jack.
He's mad as a snake.
And Seaby takes the mark.
I'm not sure that kamikaze Campbell Brown, who's now coming up for a spell, realises this is a NAB Cup, boys.
Can you have a chat to him, Pickens?
There was actually an article in the paper today saying that Alistair Clarkson and Campbell Brown once had stern words to each other because Alistair Clarkson asked him in a NAB Cup game why he wasn't playing very well, and he said, I can't get up for pre-season games. And he said, well, you can get up in our reserves next week if you like. I'll tell you what, he's up tonight. He's captain and he's well and truly up. Seaby up to that challenge, and Sydney in front.
Gee, they worked that well after getting the centre square clearance. Just fed it out the back, changed direction, and then able to get the overlap and identify the loose player forward. It's a tough kick, a difficult pocket, but they've worked it well.
4 goals in last week's practice match, Brandon Matera, so he's in good goal kicking form. Runs around, can't bend it back enough. Off hands, Mattner decides not to take it through. That's almost ball.
Yep.
It is
decision.
ball. Free kick, Charlie Dixon, who was best on ground last week in the practice match.
Just didn't dispose of it correctly. Terrific pressure. Once again, the difference that we've seen between the two sides. He's adopting the side-on approach for the round the corner kick.
And look at that for skill. Sensational. They're back in front. Here's the brother of North Melbourne's Andrew Swallow, David Swallow, their #1 pick in the draft, the Gold Coast Suns, and he's showing that was a pretty clever pick at #1. Little push off McGlynn. Jack. Goods feeding back onto this, and clever mark. Too good for Karmichael Hunt on that occasion. We read some reports that Karmichael Hunt would get some time running with Adam Goods. It'll be a learning process, because this guy's one of the best we've got.
But again, he didn't do much wrong, Karmichael Hunt. He took front position. He looked for body contact, which was good, but the experience of Adam Goods, he just rode the contact back into the flight of the footy.
It was a beautiful kick into him too. I think that's the one that Karmichael will struggle with as a defender, the one that goes over the top.
They've already had 1 draw in round 1 of the NAB Cup. Another one would set the cat amongst the pigeons. Scores a level. Jack wrapped up, and Locke had him, but just let him go. And Richards hits McGlynn.
Given a lot of time, he did the full 360. Now they're on.
More. Sidestep, sold the dummy to Toy. Short, and the mark taken by Jed Lamb.
Just starting to get a little bit on top, I think, the Swans now. Just moving the ball a little bit freer, hitting targets inside their forward 50.
This will only be for 6. He marked it on the 50-metre arc. Even if he kicks it from outside 50, it'll be a 6-pointer. Halfway through this final half, in a night of 8s. From 51, strikes it beautifully. Swans back in front.
I've lost you guys.
Cracker straight down the middle. This is exciting. He goes with a tumble punt towards Fraser. Everett, too tough to mark. Little high on Bevan. Josh Fraser, clever, checks his kick. Matera, inside 50. Brandon Matera.
Well, I knew what Nathan Cracker was trying to do. He just couldn't kick it far enough to get it to the loose Gold Coast player running back with a flight of it. He went for the torp. It was a tumble punt, but they mopped up well. And in the end, Josh Fraser just pulled his kick at the last minute when he saw a teammate running into space.
The critical moment there was the Bevan fumble. The amount of times in a game where a team has a chance to win the football and a player fumbles and it goes to the opposition for a goal is quite extraordinary. This kid's a very talented kid and he'll kick this goal.
Yeah, great footy family. Uncles Peter and Phil. Dad Wally to make it a 1-point game. Ooh. Slides it in with ease.
Where he calls it Josh Fraser.
Fraser against Everett and Seaby. Hits the deck. Well played by Gorringe.
Look at the numbers there.
Prestia got the handball up. Harbrow hacks it long. Off the hands of Malcheski. So it opens up all of a sudden. Swallow, who's been sensational, floats it inside 50. Bouncing ball. Cracker. McVeigh dragged down. Did he have it? McVeigh gets back onto it, but he drops it again. Bevan goes in. It's back alive. The seconds continue to tick down. There are chances here, the Gold Coast Suns, but make it 1 game, 1 win. The goal's been kicked. Hayden Jolly could be the hero.
Well, that's amazing. I thought Jared McVeigh had mopped up. I thought experience shows under pressure. He's about to zoom out of defence, and somehow he just leaves the ball behind Rosie.
I think he went to kick it and
changed his mind.
I think he had Malcheski up there. He'd love to have that one back again, Macca. I can assure you of that. There's Malcheski, who was outside 50. All he needed to do was hit him. So a couple of really bad blues from the Swans have allowed Gold Coast to look like they're going to win this game.
What a great result for Gold Coast.
Look, again, Swallow involved. Very, very good play. You look at their top picks here. Swallow, Burnell was a high pick. Josh Toy was a very highly touted. 14 possessions, 9 possessions to Toy. So some of their kids have played very well.
15 seconds from having a win in their first ever game. Jude Bolton, he got a handball out, but he missed the target. Daniel Harris, some experience here. He'll maintain possession. Code, 27-year-old from the SANFL, also some experience, and they win this game. What a magnificent performance by the new kids on the block. The Gold Coast Suns beat the Sydney Swans by 3 points in their first game in anger as an AFL club. And if they win Game 3, the Gold Coast Suns against the Great Western Sydney Giants, they will advance to the second round of the NAB Cup. The Greater Western Sydney Giants and the Gold Coast Suns coming up next.